nervous because I'm here now.
Hey guys, welcome into another episode of 410 Sports Talk. James Haskell, Glenn Martin, and we are back for you guys to talk about an intriguing topic. That is number 8, Lamar Jackson and his contract status. We're going to talk about his imminent deal, what we believe is imminent at this point. There's been reports that the Ravens and Lamar are going to be working on this deal throughout the offseason. It looks to be executed through spring before the season, the new year really starts to get some momentum. So before we jump into it, Glenn, guys, take a second, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, turn on your notifications, all of the above, and also leave your comments below. We encourage them, like to interact with you guys. So like to know all your thoughts regarding this video. But Glenn, let's kind of break down a little bit what's going on here. So why don't we start with a couple things. Lamar Jackson, number one, is 24 years old.
Yeah.
So he's very young to be getting a new deal similar to Patrick Mahomes. The fastest quarterback, the youngest MVP in NFL history, only the second unanimous MVP in NFL history, the youngest to start a playoff game, the youngest to, I believe, start a Pro Bowl as well. And then he was also the youngest in something else that I'm forgetting. The youngest in his draft class, of course.
Yeah. I mean, he set a bunch of NFL records. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, this is a big question, because I think when Pat Mahomes signed his deal, he really raised the bar a big amount not too long ago. And so I guess the question is, how close, or will he surpass that bar? So I'm just going to give you some of the details. So Pat Mahomes is signed through the year 2032. So 10-year deal. $450 million is the total value of the contract, with 141 of that completely guaranteed. So it's a 45 per year annual salary, Jimbo, but only 141 is fully guaranteed. So, I assume that at some point in the next 5 years or so, they're going to restructure this deal. But as it stands right now, it's a 10-year, $450 million deal with 141 guaranteed.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's only 31% of that contract. The total contract value is guaranteed. And that's going to be something we're going to be talking about today as we kind of provide some comparables here, because that range is wide. You're talking about 31% is guaranteed. Now, that's a large contract. That's a small portion of guaranteed money, but that's a big part into Lamar's deal, is what he'll get guaranteed. But before we get more into that, Glenn, one of the things I want you to talk about here is the difference it will be at the table with Lamar Jackson representing himself. What sort of impact do you think that will have on this whole process?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Lamar continues to operate with just his mom as his manager and not hiring a typical NFL agent. He did that with the draft, but it's a lot easier with the draft because it's all slotted. So you pretty much know how much you're going to make. And really the only thing left to negotiate is I think there's a little bit of wiggle room in the guarantee area. But other than that, it's pretty much slotted. You get where you're drafted. You get paid where you're drafted. Now, this deal is completely different. I mean, this is a monster deal that's going to be negotiated right now. It looks like with just Lamar and his mother negotiating with the team and no agent. And I think that's big, because what an agent has his responsibility is to his client, but it's more than just that. Also it's his pockets, because he gets 3% of that. So he's going to naturally be influenced by his own, greed a little bit, if you want to say, but
his own ambition.
Yeah, his own ambition. Absolutely. And also, he's somewhat influenced because, you want to always raise the bar for all players that are going to be following you. So there's that pool of, man, hey, Lamar, we got to keep up in this bar. We can't take too low of a deal, because future quarterbacks will be impacted, because, this guy might be impacted. So they don't have those pools. They don't have those influences from the league, from the Players Association saying, hey, we know you're trying to help out the team and maybe give them a little bit of a break, but that's setting back the position. That's setting back other players down the line. And so I do think that's a very real thing, that those pressures do exist. And so it'll be interesting if Lamar continues to operate without an agent and negotiates this deal with just him and his mother.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be such a a wild card into how this deal could turn out. There's so many things and intricacies and ways that the Ravens and Lamar could truly partner and not be opposing forces in working this deal out. And I think that as much as Patrick Mahomes' deal is a monster deal, I think that the Chiefs and Mahomes' camp did a good job at keeping, the sides the same, and that they worked together on the deal, not as opposing forces.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do really quickly before we kind of give our guesses and our foresight, just some comparable players, of course. We all know about the Deshaun Watson deal. When he signed, he was also 24. His total contract value was 156 million, and he was guaranteed 111 million, which was, obviously much higher than Mahomes' guarantee salary
Percentage-wise
of the contract.
Yeah.
Right. And then on top of that, his annual salary is 39 flat. So 39 million flat. And a lot of people are saying, Glenn, I'd like to know your thoughts on this as well. A lot of people are saying that that's too much to give a guy like Lamar Jackson. It's not easy to slate Lamar Jackson in to the Deshaun Watson money, and people shouldn't just be automatically doing that. Now, before you do that, I'm going to immediately dispute this because it is wrong.
Right.
It is absolutely wrong. Empty calories is the definition of Deshaun Watson's whole season this year. His whole season.
Wow.
I mean, I know he did a lot with he was dealing with a skeleton crew, but somebody's got to throw the football.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
somebody's got to throw
someone's going to get.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna bang on Deshaun Watson because I do think that was maybe the greatest quarterback play I've ever seen from a 4-win team in NFL history. I mean, there's no doubt. But if anyone wants to question Lamar's worth, I mean, I think you're insane in a ways because, I mean, this guy, you mentioned all his accomplishments. As far as accomplishments go, certainly at the pro level, it's not even close between him and Watson. I mean, not even in the same ballpark. You're talking about an MVP, and you're talking about a guy who, I mean, changed the league the way he plays. So, as good as Deshaun Watson is, to say that he's somehow more valuable than Lamar, I think is kind of silly. I mean, no matter what way you look at it, unless you're just going by passing yardage. I mean, you'd have to really be a niche, have to take a niche look at this if you want to find a way where Deshaun bests him in his pro career, because it's just not there. But yeah, so I guess my thing is length and guarantee is going to be a big deal. And then the percentage of that full contract, how much of that is guaranteed? Because you mentioned Deshaun Watson's 111 is guaranteed out of the total 156.
Yeah, that's 71%.
And then you look at other guys like Carson Wentz, who had 107 of his 128 guaranteed, which is 83%. So the question is, how much is the total value and how much is the guaranteed? Because look, you can look at the 450 total value of Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, honestly, he's never going to get to the 8th, 9th, 10th year of this deal. He's going to have a whole new deal by then because he's not going to operate without guaranteed money. And that at that point, the guaranteed money would have been exhausted. And he'd be just, going on, hope I don't get hurt. So I guess let's get into some of these projections, because right now they're saying that his calculated market value, according to Spot Track, is 39.6 million average salary, and they're saying that his total contract market value would be a 4-year, $158.6 million contract. As I mentioned, that's 39 annual, but it doesn't have a projection for how much of that would be guaranteed. So if we were just going to take, what the average is, somewhere between 71 and 83%, I guess we could, hang on, let me do my math here, Jimmy. I mean, let me just pull up my calculator because I can't do this math off the top of my head. I mean, I'm just not that bright. So I'm going to say 158. How many zeros is that, Jimmy?
That's 6 zeros.
6 zeros. That's a lot of zeros. Let's see here. So let's just do the middle of that and do 75%, right?
Yep.
So that's 118 million guaranteed out of that 158. So if that were the case, that would make him, he would be the second highest paid quarterback as far as annual salary. And I believe he would have the second highest guaranteed and be still right in the middle as far as these high-end franchise quarterbacks, as far as percentage of their total contract value guaranteed. Would you be comfortable with that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, look, I believe that Lamar Jackson is the most valuable quarterback. He's the best return on investment that you can get in the NFL because I believe that he can cover up the deficiencies on an offense better than anyone else. I understand you have to build around him and, as far as the run game goes, but I think that Lamar can do the most as a singular player. So his dollar value, if you just look at it that way, I mean, that's the best return on investment you can get in the NFL. So yeah, I'm comfortable with it. And now, I mean, let me ask you, are you comfortable with that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a certain amount of players in the league, and you can go across and look at multiple sports that fit this. There's certain players that just will never get how much they actually deserve to get. I mean, there's no doubt what Lamar Jackson has brought to the Ravens is more valuable than $39 million a year. It just is. I mean, not just what he does on the field, but all the attention that the Ravens are now receiving because of his star power. I mean, because he's on the cover of Madden, because he's so exciting to watch that he's a top 10 play waiting to happen every week. So yeah, I think he's in that rare category. I mean, you look at like guys in other sports like LeBron James. I don't care what the Lakers pay him. It's not enough, Jimmy. And I think you agree with that.
Yeah, it's not a free market. Imagine if all these were
what would Jordan have made if there was no salary cap and it was a free market? He would I mean, $1 billion wouldn't have been enough, in my opinion, for him.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's just insane to think about that. And Lamar Jackson absolutely falls into that category to where, like, if there was no imposed market, salary cap to close the market, then yeah, who knows what he'd get per year.
But there is, and they have to fit all 53.
They got to control labor.
So they have to, and that's why we're having this conversation. Because if there was no cap, I mean, I don't care what you pay him, as long as he's still wearing purple, I'd be happy. But let me ask you one other thing, Jimmy, because to me, it told me a lot when Lamar Jackson had purple feathers tattooed across his chest. I mean, I get it could be a something he never wants to forget, that special season that was the big trust season last year. But it also, at the same time, kind of tells me he doesn't plan on going anywhere. I mean, he would probably feel a little silly having those purple feathers if he was playing for another team in a couple of seasons. So that tells me he plans on staying here long term. So is there any chance, Jimmy, that he's not in purple in a couple seasons? And then a follow-up to that, because I think I know your answer there. What are the chances that he takes a big discount to help the team?
Yes, this is a really interesting one because I think, to answer your first question, no. I think there's no chance that Lamar Jackson is anywhere else but here in Baltimore. I think they've committed to him from the owner down as far as the style that they played and the players they're drafting and even the coaches that they're bringing in, et cetera. But this is the one thing I can see as far as taking a discount. I can see Lamar Jackson. I think I would do it. I don't know. But you could get creative and say, hey, look, guarantee me 100% of a 10-year deal, pay me $25 million a year. Now, that sounds like a lot, but you look at compared to 39, pay me $25 million a year for the next 10 years, each year, guaranteed on the dot. And if Lamar wanted to, because I'm sure the Ravens would sign up for that today.
Oh, yeah.
But if Lamar didn't feel good enough about that, he could say, look, I want a player option after year 5, right? Mm-hmm. To say I can opt out and we can re-up, or I can keep going, something of that nature. But I could see in that way, by them increasing his guaranteed salary, especially because of the way that he plays, he's running the ball, and the way they're asking him to be a lead ball carrier, that he could take a lesser yearly average salary, but up that guaranteed money.
Yeah, no, that's and I think that it could take having a creative contract like that. I think I applauded the Chiefs and their creativity while signing Mahomes to this staggering deal. Everyone goes, whoa. But when you really peel back the layers, they were able to appease their player, make him happy, make sure he's paid well and respectfully, but also keep that cap flexibility that they have. I mean, they did a fantastic job. So I think that's a great point. I think if we're going to
call it claxability.
But yeah, I think if they can find a way to maybe give him more guaranteed than typical, maybe break that 71 to 83% that we're talking about and get it up. I mean, look, Tom Brady's in a 2-year, 100% guaranteed contract for $50 million, 25 per. So Now, I don't expect Lamar to sign a 2-year deal. I don't think anyone would, but I also don't expect him, and I think Mahomes wouldn't have signed a 10-year deal either if that 10-year deal was like locked in. I mean, I think he's expecting to re-up
Right.
in 4 to 5 years to get paid again. Well, I think Lamar should be doing the same thing. I mean, if you look at his age, was he 24 years old, just turned 24? He should be saying, whatever the contract is, I don't want it to be any longer than 4 to 5 years because I want to hit free agency again and double up on that monster contract. And I think he should do that. And the Ravens will be happy because no matter what they pay Lamar, in my opinion, it's not enough. I mean, he's just that good. But as far as cap, keeping everyone under the number, I understand you can only allocate a certain amount. So I'm hopeful that that we can come to an understanding and agreement to where it doesn't, cripple the cap. That's my only thing. But honestly, whatever they pay Lamar, he deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just think about this, Glenn. He could re-up 3 times. He could do 3 4-year deals, 12 years. He'd only be still younger than Ben Roethlisberger, still younger than Phillip Rivers. He'd be 36 and barely 36. Crazy.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers just got 25 as a 40-year-old. He got 25 million as a 40-year-old. His third contract, he'd be signing at 32 if he did every 4 years.
No.
Yeah, because he signed one at 24.
Right. Sorry. Yes.
One at 28 and then one at 32. It would be
ending at 36. Sorry.
Right, exactly. Ending at 36. And then he could still go out and get, Phillip Rivers got 25 at 40. I mean, I'm not saying he's he's the status of Tom Brady yet, but Tom Brady, he's 44. He got 2-year, $50 million guaranteed. So with modern medicine, with modern training, and the way we can, take care of our bodies if we take it as seriously as guys like Brady do, I mean, he could be playing until he's 40. And yeah, gets so much money. So yeah, bottom line is Lamar's going to be living a very comfortable and handsomely rich life. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think you have to give him above Deshaun. You just have to. Mm-hmm. So I agree with the evaluation from Spot Track that as long as he's over 39.5 million in guaranteed annual salary, I should say, I think he should be happy. The Ravens will be happy. Everyone will be happy.
Yeah. So you're going with, just to definitively then, you're going with 4 years. And what do you think the percentage of that? Just give me a percentage, not like a figure, but how much of that will be guaranteed?
I think if it's only a 4-year deal, you can up that percentage a little bit because I think you just look at his history. He's been healthy everywhere he's been. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to assume that he's going to continue that. And I would say, at least the 83% would be what I would do it at. I mean, I would do 83 to 85% of the total 158, which if I could just get my calculator out here, because, I'm a real math whiz. That would be, let's say he was at 83%. That's 131 million guaranteed out of the 158. I mean, look, that would still put him up there as one of the highest. I'm just trying to see if there's any other guaranteed. Nobody would be higher other than Pat Mahomes at just 141. So barely higher. And again, he will be able to re-up at a very young age. Whereas Pat Mahomes, if he's going to re-up, he's going to be almost 30 doing that. So yeah, I think that 131 guaranteed, 4 years, 159 total will be perfect.
I'm going with 160 just to make it easy math.
Just to one up me?
I think that he breaks the $40 million annual salary. I think he hits it right on the nose. But I'm going to go lower than you on the guaranteed money. I think in this contract, I wouldn't be surprised if he's around the 75 to 77 range. I don't think he breaks 80% in guaranteed dollars. I don't think he's that concerned about the guaranteed dollars at age 25, 26, 27, and 28. I just don't think he's that worried about it.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like a guy who lives outside his means and is looking to spend a bunch of money. Everything we've seen from him, humble guy. He's probably going to have a lot saved up by the time his career is over.
Yeah, and at the same, he knows he's durable, knows how to take hits. I know he feels good about his body and things like that moving forward. So you guys, let us know what you think. We've pontificated here and given you as many, I think, angles or perspectives as you can when it comes to this Lamar Jackson contract. We both believe that whatever they pay him is not enough.
That's right.
And we're excited about the future of Lamar Jackson. But give us your thoughts. What we want to know is how many years you think he's going to get? Mm-hmm. What do you think the percentage of his contract will be guaranteed? And what will be his annual salary?
Yep.
Let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.